to see that, man.
Hey man, I ain't trying to get an audience nothing they don't want to see. I ain't worry about it.
Neither is Joyner. You know, he not hiding his album. He's heard his girl from his album.
Damn. Teed that one up for you. Unintentionally too.
I know, all right. Might check the bar report.
Can't give you those layups.
I did. You know, you tossed it in and I hit the homer.
Pause. All the pause. This is welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this is a TC's weekly hating session. Hate.
We have had no backstory whatsoever regarding this album. You don't have a clue what I'm about to say.
I'm just saying. TC is like the mad commentator, not the mad rapper. He's just a mad commentator. It's always so I'm really interested because he is a hater of artists that start with letter J. And this is Joyner Lucas. This is Joyner Lucas right now we're gonna be talking about. So I could almost predict without any conversation about this album, ladies and gentlemen, what TC is gonna say. But I'll let the story play itself out. Welcome to the episode. Talk to us, T. Talk to us.
It's a review where Larry says, I hate all artists that start with the letter J. If you enjoy this review, subscribe, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Tell us what you think. Leave a comment. So, letter J, Joyner Lucas, finally, after like multiple years, drops his debut studio album, ADHD. I don't know what year that last little project that he put out came out, but that was a long fucking time ago. You know, when he was accusing Logic of stealing his shit, you know, and he gets Logic on the album.
Is that like 2015,
2017? The Telephone Number album, that shit came out in 2017. And then the following year, he announces ADHD. He announces that shit in 2018. And we finally got it in 2020.
Yeah.
This album is interesting. So, as I added it to my library, and I'm looking at the track list, I realized that most of this album has already come out. And I'm like, are we fucking serious? Like, I didn't count and see how many new tracks he had. But Jesus Christ, I swear at least half this album is tracks that have already come out. Over the last, you know, some recently, some a year ago, some 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah, this nigga ADHD for real, nigga. Like, you really couldn't figure out nothing else to put on the album besides a bunch of old-ass tracks? I forgot the track ISIS with Logic even existed.
Yeah, that came out.
This fucking track was a real track. So we got 18 tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4 skits. So 14 tracks, 14 real tracks. Mm-hmm. And at least like 7 of these, I think, at least already came out. Maybe 8.
Yeah. That was very very interesting. Very, very interesting.
So I'm like, I think he would have been better off. This is not saying the songs are bad or good or anything like that. With so much time between those tracks and they already being out, he'd have been better off just putting out an EP. It's still, you know, was it the Kevin Hart skit? When he was, you know, talking about how long this fucking album took to come out. Like, nigga, how long you gonna use that picture? This album cover? And I'm laughing like, yeah, this should have been forever. But supposedly he had writer's block.
Maybe. I mean, it's a possibility. I know people who are artists who they struggle with their creativity.
I mean,
Just
if
had
it's
their moment.
rapping and beefing with Tory Lanez and shit, maybe he could have came up with some other shit. I don't know. But the Joyner has been known for his very visual videos over the years.
Hmm.
Whether it be about the one story, I forgot the name of the kid, the one, I think it's a Detroit, that one about the kid that shot the other dude pretending to be his friend in school but robbed him.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
Or
kid was, yeah, he befriended him, took him to the house and shot him, and then he had the "I'm not a racist."
then he did the I'm Not a Racist. He done a slew of other videos that he had one where it was like people getting hit like in a car accident or something like that. It came out, it was a Lucy video that came out like a year ago or something. That was kind of dope. It was,
Maybe.
he usually puts out these tracks that have like this some sort of message of whatever it is that he's particularly trying to convey at that point, and they're all super creative.
Hmm.
But one of his downfalls with those is sometimes people say they're too long, and it's like, dog, you could have got your point across in like 3 minutes versus like 6 minutes. And I'm like, I get it, but the visual effect
Yeah,
helps it.
he's painting a picture.
It's painting the picture.
It's, he takes a big page out of Eminem's book. He takes a long way. He tries to be so detailed, um, with how he's painting this picture that it takes the story a lot longer to get there.
Like the track off the Telephone Number album, um about the $100 bill or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of that goddamn track?
Oh,
Keep it. It's called Keep It 100, where he gave you the whole story about the dollar bill traveling from hand to hand to hand. That album's like 7 minutes. I mean, that track is like 7 minutes. Shockingly, though, we don't get much of that on this album. At least from what I can see. There's a couple tracks, like that one track with is it Devil's Work? That's the track that came out like maybe a year ago, where it's about people who should have died but died,
yep,
and that
yep.
video, and people said about that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a creative song, especially with the video attached to it. It adds a lot more context to the shits. That one, and then what is that track? Revenge. I think that just came out too.
Revenge is a new
Got
one.
the Will with the Will Smith shit that's been
Will
posted.
that video? Have you seen the video for that?
Haven't watched the video yet.
The video is dope as fuck because he goes through all the movies that he's talking about.
Right, which you can hear on the track, you know.
Yeah, yeah. He ties it on. He ties it on in the video. He goes through and he's like he's on a movie set, just going from scene to scene, changing through as he's rapping. It's dope. It's
So
real dope.
so it sounds like he took that from that Jay-Z video where he goes from like each set and he's
Like
recreating his
girls.
outfit
Oh no. That wasn't a girls video.
on the set of like each session where he's taking a picture for every album cover he's done, but he switches it immediately back to back, like grab the hat here.
I think that was girls.
It might have been. It's every album cover that he's put out, and it's like,
Yeah.
so it sounds like that if he's going from set to set.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, there's parts where he goes into like detail and it's got a little bit something behind it. Like I thought he started off real strong with I Lied.
Yeah, I like that track a lot.
Like that that was a perfect way to start the album.
But
Then,
right,
like
so he starts off with a fucking like 3 minute. It's called the screening evaluation, dog, and that shit's
right.
like 3 minutes long. And I thought that went a whole minute too long.
Yeah.
With the Rorschach test shit.
Yeah.
I
felt like it was really Eminem-ish too, because like Eminem's like Relapse, where he had the crazy doctor that he was doing his like the intro where he was coming out the hospital and then all of a sudden he was having a dream where the doctor all of a sudden was trying to get him to relapse.
And then
it was kind of the same thing.
That.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of like that same thing. I was like, okay, that's the kind of vibe right off the bat. And I'm like, I didn't look at any of the track lists So I didn't know that I was gonna start hearing tracks that I've already heard. So that was a kind of the bummer. But like it was really easy. Okay, I heard ISIS. I was like, oh yeah, I heard this before. Okay, skip that. Okay, the war. Skip that. Chris, that was funny. I love. Okay, I heard that. Skip that. Devil's Work. Heard that. Skip that. Lotto. Okay. Wait, think I heard that. Skip that. It was that was the thing that was just kind of disappointing about it. But those are all good songs, though. They're all good songs.
Yeah, it's funny. You get I Lied, which is dope. Then it goes to ISIS, and that's the last good Logic verse that Logic has done. I'm dead ass. That shit was like 2 years ago, and it's the last good Logic verse that Logic has done. Because he kind of killed that. He sounded really good and comfortable on it. He wasn't saying his normal repeating lines that he normally does a lot on his more recent stuff where he gets lazy.
Yeah.
Wish he would have gave that same effort on Book of Ryan on the Caterpillar original track before. Yeah, that shit is trash.
Just lost it.
Be on the Caterpillar over Eminem and shit, but he couldn't get there to shoot the video. And I'm glad he couldn't, because his verse was terrible. But this not a Logic review.
No, it's not. That's Joyner Lucas review. I think it's like, I mean, his lyricism. Like, I did feel like it was kind of, I mean, it felt dated. Obviously, most of his shit is on.
It's funny you say it sound dated, because I felt like he's like a chameleon. Like, he's copying too many sounds that it will sound dated, I guess. What I'm looking for is like, why do you sound like this artist over here who's not going to be relevant by next year? He got what the fuck is the name of that shit? What's the kid that was on Lil Wayne's the Carter 5 the intro track? Fuck. People listen to that shit. Why you don't fucking know that is such and such? And I'm gonna tell you to suck it easy. Triple X. Tentacion. He has a whole fucking song on here that sounds just like that. No offense, Sam, that he won't be here next year because he's gone. But that's not what I was going with. But with some of his rhyme schemes and stuff like that, the way his vocal inflections are, it's like you're trying to imitate an artist that ain't gonna matter. But then he has a whole song that sounds like Triple X, and then
maybe since that maybe it's just like, hey, since the artist ain't gonna be here, I can just go ahead and use the sound. Keep the sound going.
Yeah, because I think it might be ADHD is the track that I'm thinking of. That shit sounds just like Triple X XXX Tentacion's sound.
Yeah.
Then I see Timberland on here, and I'm like, okay. But then Tim
Bands is dope.
I like it, but it's the same cadence that he uses on a whole lot of other tracks. He does like this start-stop thing that he does with a lot of his verses, and it almost makes a lot of his songs sound the same.
It's like J. Cole and like Running Back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know, man. This album was interesting because a lot of the tracks, even though I heard some of them, they still don't do a lot for me. And I enjoyed the Telephone Number album, I think, more than I like this one, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because it's new and you get some of the super visuals that he does. I think Joyner, if he was to do like and this is not a comparison, you fuckers, if he did an album like Lemonade, where if he did a whole album that was a visual album of all videos and songs that go with it and tie it into a full maybe narrative, I think he could kill that because he's better at the visuals and putting together the stories to make people see where he's trying to go with it, that sometimes they don't land on some of the tracks. individually, at least on this project. Some tracks like Keep It 100 or the I'm Sorry track or whatever off the Telephone Number album and shit. Those tracks, you can follow it from beginning to end. You're like, dog, that shit is dope. The I'm Racist track, you isn't as dope until you watch it. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to see him in the future do something like that. Give me a video album of some sort, not necessarily put it on. Of course, it'll still be where you can stream it, but he should put that out as an album. Give me like 8-10 tracks of that. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on. After listening to this album, I think he would succeed better with that, and maybe his writing would improve based on thinking of specific concepts. Because there's not a lot of concepts on here that deal with his ADHD, unless you just go with how sporadic some of these tracks are in its sound and where he's borrowing shit from. Besides the skits, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that could be like.
Is this my J hate?
That could be the genius behind it. I want to correct myself. I realized I was in kind of a daze when I was just talking about the J. Cole, and I just realized I said running back. I meant to say motivate. So apologize to everybody out there. I was off in La La Land. But yeah, motivate. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a fair. I think that's a fair representation. It's a little bit different. I thought you were about to shred this album to pieces.
No, I'm not going to shred pieces, man. I think it's okay.
I thought you were about to go ham.
There's nothing special about it. There's nothing bad about it. Besides the fact that I've heard half of this album over the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a solid one. It's kind of like that. Who's my man from the South that just put out his album last year? Big Crit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What Big Crit? His last album was nah.
No, I was saying about how we basically heard the album before it got released.
Oh yeah, because he released those little mini little twosies and single and 3 tracks or whatever and that shit, and that shit came out as a That was the EP or whatever before the full album though. I was like, why are you putting this out in a group when you already released them? Yeah. But did you like it? The ADHD album?
I did. I enjoyed it. Like it's not something I'm gonna go back to repeatedly.
That was my next question. Is like, are you gonna go back to like these tracks or play it from the beginning to end and be like, this shit bangs?
No, I'll probably just figure out a couple songs, pluck them out, add them to the playlist, call it a day. But nah. Or unless I just need something like if I'm just adding a bunch of stuff and I'm like, hey, let's get a bunch of albums, just get all the stuff in and put them all in there and press shuffle. Sure. But generally speaking, yeah.
Like I could listen to I Lied, I could listen to ISIS, I could listen to War, the War with Young Thug. I could listen to them 3 in a row. I'm a turn off Devil's Work. Lotto's okay. I Love is okay. Chris Brown, the Finally track with Chris Brown, skipping that. The 10 Band track I probably listen to, but I wouldn't go back to it. I'll listen to it though. Revenge, I like that beat. ADHD, I like the sound of it. It's just funny that he's just using that sound. The Still Can't Love with Fab, nope. The Wheel track is cool. It's better if you watch the video though.
Yep.
Broken Stupid, I swear that's a track that came out before. Other than that, it's just all his shit is running together, and I'm tripping. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Broken Stupid. I like that intro too.
Yeah.
What was that last thing? What were you saying?
I was saying like I think the beat changes every time he goes to rap versus and I'm like, okay, this is cool. So there's a couple old tracks that I still listen to and a few new tracks I listen to. Overall, it's probably a good 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 tracks that I'd probably turn on. Like I'd go back and listen to, but I would never just really go back and be like, yeah, this shit's fire.
Yeah, that's fair.
I could put tracks together between this and the Telephone Number album and make a decent playlist, and he's put out some Lucy's over the years, but and this album cover is fucking stupid. I thought it was dope at first, but it could be the fact that I've looked at this shit for 2 years now.
Why is it stupid?
I don't know, man. Like
You're such a hater.
your hands over your face, but I can see your face coming through it. It just looks fucking weird. And why are you in camo?
He can't. He's trying to hide. He can't hide.
Is that what he wore in the ISIS video with Logic? And then he's just,
Like, man, I don't know. You gotta get him on the show.
And then he did a track with Eminem, if I'm not mistaken, and that didn't make the album.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to find.
Got
nothing.
Supposedly it didn't fit the theme. I'm like, I'm confused on the theme because it's not a consistent one through all of this besides the skits holding it together. I don't know, but that one's all right. It's not amazing. It's not terrible. It's kind of okay. I'd recommend it. Give it a spin. Joyner can rap his ass off. That's one thing he can do very well. He's very good at making videos. If you want to enjoy his music a little bit more, find the videos that he's made for some of these tracks, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. Yeah. I really got nothing else to say about this shit.
I think he got it all out. I say what I had said. Solid album. Give it more than one spin.
Yeah, I give it a couple spins. Then I'll retire it and take a couple tracks off. Make my own Joyner playlist. There you go. All right. Well, we can wrap this shit up. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. All that bullshit them YouTubers be saying, do all that shit.
If you got an album you want us to review,
leave it in the comment.
Leave it in the comment.
I forgot about the comments people be leaving telling me to review shit. But that's not the point. Do all that shit them YouTubers be telling you to do right here. Right down there below.
All right, y'all.
See y'all on the next video. We out. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Now, where the fuck is the button to stop it?